Reporting and reflection are two very different things. Here's an example of a short report. If this were a little blurb in a newspaper, it would answer questions about who, what, when, where, and how. We have a perfunctory but clear description of what occurred. Reflection goes much deeper. In the internship program, we ask you to use a model of reflection called the DEAL method. DEAL starts with D for describe. When you reflect, you don't just stay on the surface of the so-called facts, the happenings, but you describe what was happening for you internally as well. So it's a much richer kind of description. And then you take that to the next level and you put the experience under a microscope. So you're examining it, asking deeper questions and starting to ask questions like why and how. And then finally, you articulate what you have learned. And remember that learning is happening not just through the experience. The learning is actually happening through the reflective process. Here's an example of that earlier report turned into a genuine reflection using that DEAL model. When I was asked to update all the brochures for the summer, I felt anxious. So there's this emotional component that becomes part of the description. There's more about what was happening internally as well as externally. I felt a bit upset. However, I took a deep breath and just dove into the task. Now, this is where we really see the difference between the report and the reflection in these next two paragraphs. Notice what's happening here through this introspection. There's a realization about communication norms in this particular workplace, and there's also an opening up of additional questions. There's a question here about cultural influences and how those are affecting communication in the workplace. And then as this reflection concludes, you can see that that openness to further inquiry continues. I can't say that I've become truly comfortable with this approach, but I can see that workplace communication is governed by cultural norms that are new to me. Maybe I need to think more like an anthropologist as I figure out how to adapt to conventions I haven't encountered before. So what I want you to notice about the way this concludes is that there is a sense of closure, but at the same time, the avenue is left open to further discovery. Reflection is not about painting a rosy picture. It's not about painting a perfect picture. Reflection is by its nature messy, and not all of the experiences that you will have during your internship will be positive. Take the time to choose carefully the moment that you want to explore. And I encourage you to consider some of those moments where, like this writer, you felt uncomfortable, because those are often those experiences that stretch us. And when we bump up against discomfort, it's often then that we have the opportunity to learn.